The wine glass trembles in my hand as I watch Mark across our dining room table. Candlelight flickers between us, casting shadows that dance across his strong jawline. He's telling me about his day, his voice warm and familiar, but I'm barely listening. The words I've been rehearsing for weeks burn in my throat like acid. Mark. My voice cuts through his story about the presentation at work. He stops mid-sentence, those dark eyes finding mine with the intensity that first drew me to him 3 years ago. What is it, Sabrina? The question hangs in the air between us. I set down my glass with deliberate care, watching the burgundy liquid catch the light. My heart pounds so hard I'm certain he can hear it across the table. I need to tell you something. The words taste bitter. About why I married you. His expression doesn't change, but I catch the slight tension in his shoulders, the way his fingers pause on the stem of his wine glass. Mark has always been unreadable. It's what made him feel safe when everything else in my life was chaos. Now, that same composure makes my stomach clench with dread. I'm listening. His voice is steady, controlled. I take a shaky breath. I married you for stability, Mark, not for love. The confession tears from my throat like a physical wound. And I still love my ex. The silence that follows is deafening. I watch his face, waiting for the explosion, the shouting, the hurt, the desperate questions about who and why and how long. My hands twist in my lap as I prepare for his world to crumble. But Mark doesn't crumble. He leans back in his chair with fluid grace, those dark eyes never leaving mine. His fingers drum once, twice against the table. Then he lifts his wine glass to his lips, takes a long, deliberate sip, and sets it down with the same careful precision I'd used moments before. The grandfather clock in the hallway ticks, once, twice, 3 times. When he finally speaks, his voice carries a quiet certainty that sends ice through my veins. Divorce, one word, that's all. Not a question, not a plea, not even an accusation. Just a simple statement of fact, delivered with the same tone he might use to order coffee. I stare at him, my breath caught somewhere between my lungs and my throat. This isn't how this was supposed to go. Where's the fight? Where are the tears? The desperate attempts to save our marriage. Mark pushes back from the table and stands, his movements liquid and controlled. The candlelight catches the sharp planes of his face as he looks down at me, and for just a moment, I see something flicker in those dark depths. Not hurt, not anger, but something else entirely. Something that looks almost like relief. I'll sleep in the guest room tonight, he says, his voice still impossibly calm. We can discuss the details tomorrow. He turns and walks away, leaving me alone with the dancing shadows and the sudden, terrifying realization that I have no idea who I just married. I don't sleep. How could I, with Mark just down the hall in the guest room, as composed and unreachable as a fortress? Every creak of the house makes me wonder if he's lying awake too, or if he's sleeping peacefully, relieved to finally have an excuse to end what I now realize might have been a burden to him all along. By morning, I'm a wreck. My eyes are swollen from tears I didn't realize I was crying, and my hands shake as I make coffee in our pristine kitchen. Our kitchen. For how much longer? Mark appears at 7:30, dressed in his charcoal suit like any other workday. His dark hair is perfectly styled, his jaw clean-shaven. He looks untouched, like last night was just another Tuesday. Good morning. His voice is polite, distant. Mark, we need to talk about. I've already called David Mitchell. He's the best divorce attorney in the city. He pours himself coffee with steady hands. He can see us Friday at 2. The casual efficiency of it steals my breath. It's been 12 hours. He turns to face me, leaning against the counter with that same fluid grace. In the morning light streaming through our kitchen window, he looks almost ethereal to beautiful, too composed to be real. Did you think I'd fight for someone who settled for me? His tone isn't cruel, just matter of fact. Someone who's been lying to me for 3 years. I didn't lie, you did. He takes a sip of coffee, his dark eyes holding mine over the rim. Every time you said you loved me, every time you let me believe this was real. The words hit like physical blows. I gripped the counter, my knuckles white. It was real. It is real. I do love you, just not the way you love him. The way he says it without jealousy, without pain, makes my chest tight. This isn't the Mark I married. The Mark I knew was quietly passionate, deeply feeling beneath that controlled exterior. This man is a stranger wearing my husband's face. Who is he? Mark asks, setting down his cup. I blink, startled by the question. What, your ex? The one you're still in love with? He straightens his tie with practiced movements. I assume I know him. My throat closes. Because yes, he does know him. We all went to college together. Jake was Mark's roommate senior year, his friend long before he was ever mine. The recognition dawns in Mark's eyes as he reads my expression. Something flickers across his face, the first crack in that perfect composure. Jake. It's not a question. I nod, unable to speak. Mark stands motionless for a long moment, and I watch something shift behind his dark eyes. When he speaks again, his voice carries an edge I've never heard before. This is going to be more interesting than I thought. He picks up his briefcase and heads for the door, leaving me alone with the devastating realization that I might not know my husband at all. The envelope arrives Wednesday morning, hand-delivered while I'm still in my robe, hair unwashed and eyes red-rimmed from another sleepless night. The return address makes my blood freeze. Mitchell and Associates, attorneys at law. Inside are divorce papers and a note in Mark's precise handwriting. Sign these. We meet with lawyers Friday as planned. I'm staring at the papers when my phone rings. Jake's name flashes on the screen, and my heart lurches. I haven't spoken to him since the wedding. Mark's wedding. Our wedding. Sabrina. His voice is warm, familiar, everything I remember. I heard. Heard what? About you and Mark. News travels fast in our old circle. I close my eyes. Of course Mark told him. They're still friends, despite everything. Despite the fact that I chose stability over passion. Safety over the man who still makes my pulse race just by saying my name. Jake, meet me tonight. Cafe Luna, 8 o'clock. We need to talk. The line goes dead before I can respond. Cafe acute Luna is dimly lit, animated in a way that makes my skin prickle with awareness. Jake sits in the corner booth we used to claim as ours, and when he looks up at my approach, I'm transported back to university, to stolen kisses between classes, to promises we were too young to keep. He's changed. The boyish softness is gone, replaced by sharp cheekbones and a jaw that could cut glass. His dark hair is longer than he used to wear it, and when he stands to greet me, his body has the lean strength of a man, not the boy I left behind. Sabrina. My name is a caress on his lips. He doesn't touch me, but I feel the pull anyway, that magnetic attraction that made me choose him in the first place. Before reality and my need for security made me choose Mark instead. You look. He shakes his head, smiling that crooked smile that used to undo me completely. You look exactly the same. I slide into the booth across from him, acutely aware of the space between us, of how easy it would be to reach across and touch his hand. Mark said you're getting divorced. The directness of it makes me flinch. He didn't waste any time calling. You, actually, Jake says, his eyes intense on mine. He called me 3 years ago. The words don't make sense. What? The night before your wedding. Jake leans forward, his voice dropping to that intimate tone I remember so well. He called to ask if I was in love with you. My heart stops. What did you tell him? Jake's smile is slow, dangerous. I told him the truth, that I never stopped loving you, that if you'd chosen me instead of him, I'd have married you that same week. The cafe spins around me, and he still married me. Oh, sweetheart. Jake reaches across the table and covers my hand with his, and the contact sends electricity shooting up my arm. Mark didn't marry you despite loving someone else. He married you because of it. What do you mean? My voice is barely a whisper. Jake's thumb traces circles on my knuckles, each touch sending heat spiraling through my chest. Mark's been in love with someone else for years, Sabrina. Someone he could never have. The cafe feels like it's closing in around us. Who? Jake's eyes meet mine, and I see pity there, mixed with something deeper. You really don't know, do you? You've been so focused on your own secrets that you never saw his. My hand trembles under his. Tell me. Eleanor Rodriguez. She's married to his business partner, David. Has been for 6 years. Jake's voice is gentle, like he's delivering news of a death. Mark's been in love with her since law school, but she chose David. Sound familiar? The parallels hit me like a physical blow. Both of us married for the wrong reasons, both of us. Nursing wounds from loves we couldn't have. But where I felt guilty, Mark felt. What relief. So we both settled. I breathe. No. Jake's grip on my hand tightens. You settled. Mark found someone who could never truly hurt him, because you were never truly his to lose. The truth of it crashes over me. Mark's calm reaction, his immediate call to the lawyer, his complete lack of fight, it all makes sense now. He wasn't devastated by my confession. He was liberated by it. And you, I look up at Jake, this man who still makes my pulse race after all these years. What do you want from this? His other hand comes up to cup my face, thumb brushing across my cheekbone. With reverent tenderness, I want what I've always wanted. You. The simple honesty of it undoes me completely. This is what I gave up, this raw, desperate want that Mark and I never had. This is what I've been mourning for 3 years of careful, comfortable marriage, Jake. His name is a plea, leave with me tonight. His voice is rough with need. Don't wait for lawyers and paperwork. Just come home with me, home. The word settles in my chest like a key finding its lock. Mark and I built a house together. But Jake is offering me something I'd forgotten existed, a place where I belong completely. I can't just, yes, you can. He slides out of the booth and extends his hand. For once in your life, Sabrina, choose what you want instead of what you think you should have. I stare at his outstretched hand, at the promise of everything I've been afraid to reach for. Behind me lies the wreckage of a marriage that was built on mutual convenience. Ahead lies the terrifying, exhilarating prospect of choosing love over safety. Mark will be fine, Jake says softly. Maybe for the first time in years, we all will be. I take his hand. The moment our fingers intertwine, I know there's no going back. Jake's apartment overlooks the city, all exposed brick and floor-to-ceiling windows that frame the glittering lights below. It's nothing like the pristine suburban home I shared with Mark. It's raw, artistic, alive with the kind of energy I'd forgotten I craved. Second thoughts, Jake asks, watching me take in the space. I turn to find him leaning against the kitchen island, and the sight of him in this environment, relaxed, real, completely himself, takes my breath away. This is the Jake I fell in love with in college, before I got scared and chose the safer path. No, I say, and mean it. No second thoughts. He moves toward me with that fluid grace I remember. But there's something different now, a confidence that comes with age, with knowing exactly what he wants. When he reaches me, he doesn't touch me immediately. Instead, he studies my face like he's memorizing it. I need you to be sure, he says quietly, because if you stay tonight, I'm not letting you go again. The intensity in his dark eyes makes my knees weak. This is what I've been missing, this complete, consuming focus. This feeling of being the center of someone's universe. I'm sure. The words come out breathier than I intended. His hand comes up to frame my face, and I lean into the touch like a flower turning toward sunlight. God, I've missed you, he whispers. When his lips meet mine, it's like coming home after years of being lost. The kiss is soft at first, tentative, as if we're both afraid this moment might shatter. Then I press closer, my hands fisting in his shirt, and something unleashes between us. His mouth moves against mine with desperate hunger, and I taste 3 years of longing, of dreams deferred and hearts carefully guarded. When we break apart, we're both breathing hard. Sabrina. He says my name like a prayer. I know. I rest my forehead against his. I know. We don't rush. Every touch, every kiss, every whispered confession feels like a sacred ritual, the official end of who I was and the beginning of who I'm choosing to become. In his arms, I remember what it feels like to be chosen, not for convenience, but for love later. Wrapped in his sheets with the city lights painting patterns on our skin, I feel more myself than I have in years. What happens now? I ask, tracing lazy circles on his chest. Now we stop running from what we want. His arm tightens around me. No more settling. No more choosing safety over happiness. My phone buzzes on the nightstand, a text from Mark. I hope you find what you're looking for. You deserve to be happy. We both do. I show Jake the message, and he presses a kiss to my temple. Smart man. He is, I agree, settling deeper into Jake's embrace. We all are, finally, outside. The city sleeps, but I've never felt more awake. This is what courage feels like, not the absence of fear, but the decision to choose love anyway. I chose love. Finally,